This is Pip, a tiny squirrel standing on a branch in a forest where the oak trees sprout upward to the size of skyscrapers. To enter this world, you have to physically pull it into existence. You feel the heavy paper resist your fingers, you hear the sharp click of the spine snapping into place, and a flat surface erupts into a three-dimensional landscape. Compare that physical friction to the smooth glass of a tablet. A tap on a screen requires no effort, and the device provides all the movement. The glowing glass offers light and sound, but it lacks the weight, texture, and kinetic feedback of a physical object. These folding paper structures function as interactive training grounds. They demand constant, manual input to keep the story moving. Every interactive page combines an 800-year-old tradition of mechanical engineering with archetypal storytelling. By the time a young reader presses the covers closed, they have transitioned from a passive viewer to an active operator of the narrative, using their hands to navigate a series of spatial and logical problems. Take the first step in Pip's journey. When he reaches into a hollow knot in an oak tree, the reader pulls a paper tap, and the entire forest scene rotates with a sudden whoosh. This diagram shows the geometry making rotation possible: the square-based pyramid and V-fold moving arm. It expands outward from the center spine. Below, you see how this geometry translates a two-dimensional pull into three-dimensional energy. The reader provides force. The angled paper multiplies movement. This specific application of geometry was originally a technical calculation tool for adults. This is a 13th century volvel. Monks constructed these rotating paper wheels, attached to the page with a central pivot, to track the movement of the stars and calculate exact dates for the church calendar. Tactile interaction helps a reader anchor the narrative. Because the child must physically intervene to make the story progress, this sequence of events becomes easier to recall and understand. The mechanical resistance of the paper forces the child to participate in the storytelling, bridging the gap between what they see and what they do. Deep inside the tree, Pip enters a neon cave and finds his path blocked by a rushing stream of thick blue honey. He balances on a giant green leaf to float safely across. In nature-based educational models like the forest school, teachers rely on tangible metaphors, like rushing streams and seeds, to introduce complex life lessons to young children. When Pip confronts a barrier that is larger than he is, the reader watches a tiny creature navigate a difficult environment. This stream creates a safe microcosm. The child experiences the obstacle's tension, subconsciously processing their fear from a safe, controlled distance. These fictional barriers act as training wheels. They let children practice navigating difficult emotions and finding solutions well before they face them in reality. Pip touches the glowing silver acorn, causing the trees to hum and the colorful paper flowers to burst open. This grand reveal relies on a carousel mechanism. As seen in this example, the book covers fold back 360 degrees to create a deep, multi-layered theatrical set, allowing characters to exist in a panoramic space. Within this expanded stage, the wind whispers that even the smallest pause can bring about significant magic. Compare that message to this pop-up book from the 1850s, where Cinderella sits passively by the fire. Older tales often focused on characters waiting in distress for an external rescue. Modern retellings use these complex physical expansions to mirror the character's internal growth. When a tiny squirrel triggers a shift in his environment, it reinforces the idea that the reader has the agency to be the primary driver of their own story. The adventure ends with a final snap. The three-dimensional world collapses flat, tucking Pip into his nest as the covers meet. The reader who closes this cover has manually operated a piece of historical engineering. They have walked a protagonist through a landscape of fear and courage, making choices that mirror real-world problem-solving. Interactive fairy tales remain relevant because they respect a child's intelligence. They provide a tactile, moving world that serves as the ultimate preparation for reality.